So about 3 days later, I received a box from my mom. And the box had 20 books and a simple letter. The letter said, Nelson Mandela did 27 years for a crime that he didn't commit. I'm sure that you can do 7.5 years for a crime that you did. And here are some of the things that Nelson Mandela said he did to comfort himself during that time. The first thing that he did was he continually aligned himself with God, because he knew through God all things were possible. So in that box that my mom sent me was a Bible. I began to read my Bible every day. And during the course of my 6-year stay, I read my Bible from cover to cover twice. While reading my Bible, I began to ask God, God, what am I supposed to learn from this lesson? And what God revealed to me was, I want you to share your message with people all over the world in the hope that they'll make better lifestyle choices. The second thing that Nelson Mandela did was he read, because reading frees your mind. And we know that reading also gives you knowledge. So I began reading, and it took me from that space that I was in. And I found that peace that eluded me in the beginning. One of the books in that box was Les Brown's Live Your Dreams. I started to read that book. And during the time that I read that book, the book was telling me I could be anything that I wanted to be if I just worked hard. So I began to study. I began to read. I began to study. I began to read. I began to write. But there was one question lingering in my mind. I began to ask myself, how can I become the best me? How can I become the best possible person that I can? So in that book, that box that my mom sent me with those books in it, there were a bunch of biographies. So I began to read about all the people that I thought were successful. And one of the things that they all had in common was they were all educated. So now I said, how can I become the best student that I can be during the 6 years that I have to serve in prison? How can I become that best student that I can be? So I took those books again, and I began to look at all the characteristics of people that were successful, that I felt that were successful across the board. And when I say successful, I wasn't just talking about money. I was talking about a balanced life. And there were certain things that stood out to me that these people did that I felt that were successful. So if you want to become a successful student, here's the things that you need to do. The first thing that you need to do is you need to establish you a spiritual foundation. And the reason that I say establish you a spiritual foundation is because through God, all things are possible. A few years ago, I was incarcerated. But by the grace of God, I'm standing before you right now, and I'm speaking to you